Hi guys, in today's video, we're going to go through the stages, 10 stages to get from intermediate to advanced as a music producer, or from beginner to an advanced. So the very first thing is think about the hook. This was a lesson that took me many years to learn. I would spend hours sound designing, hours messing around, having fun, creating, never really finishing tracks that hit, that where the idea was resonating with the listeners. That's because I was getting too lost in the details of the arrangement, of adding little tweaks, and I wasn't thinking clearly about the hook. You want to think about different kinds of hooks: vocal hooks, melody hooks, bassline hooks. You want to ask yourself the question, what is memorable about the tracks that I'm listening to? It's not that hard to add a tech house bassline to a popular rap vocal and then get like a hit record. Like, people are doing this all the time. That's not the hard part. The hard part is finding hooks. If you can find good hooks in any sample library, on any weird kind of method that you can come up with, you write your own vocals, if you write your own melodies that are catchy, guitar riffs, this is going to be the thing that you base your tracks around. And if you know that it's catchy enough to catch someone who's scrolling through social media's attention, that's a really good starting point for your tracks. It doesn't always have to be built around a hook idea at the beginning. But if you think about how you're going to make this track memorable, then your tracks will just improve as a result of that. It's not that hard to make a drum pattern. It's not that hard to program a groove. It's not that hard to get good sound selection. These things can be learned in a few months with the correct advice, with the correct tutorials. The hardest thing is actually getting to this point where you're thinking really clearly about what makes music in your genre memorable, what makes it stand out, and how marketable is it in the long run. You don't want to be following some sort of genre just because it's trendy right now. I remember when dubstep was popular like 15 years ago, grime, all of these different genres that people spent all their time chasing the trends, and now it's just pointless because those genres have died out. The skill that is valuable is writing hooks, writing ideas that are strong, regardless of the genre. So if you can write really powerful melodies that can translate across different genres, that's a good test to see if you're writing strong hooks. So always think about the hook. That's going to level up your music production. It took me many years to learn this lesson. Next is consistent release schedule. You don't want to be attached to a individual track. A lot of people make a track and then they want to try and perfect it. But what's the point? Your first tracks, when you first start producing music, are not going to be good. That's just the truth. So there's no point being loyal to that. It's better for you to be loyal to your release schedule. I would advise once every 30 days. That way you're not going to overthink the mixing process. You're not going to overthink distribution if you're running ads to it or sending it out to labels. Just stick to that. Just don't deviate from that consistent schedule. You're going to be perfectionist about anything. Be perfectionist about your release schedule. Don't overcomplicate this. Just be loyal to that, and disidentify yourself from trying to come up with the perfect idea or trying to find your sound before you start releasing anything. You're going to grow your skills when you stick to a release schedule, and also it's good for your discipline, it's good for your patience, it's good for your character development as well. There's a lot of different things that it trains. Part of the artist's journey is going through this journey of developing discipline as well. I strongly believe that, regardless of if you continue to do music or not. So this is a good tip. It's a really powerful tip. It's going to build your catalog. If you blow up in the future, you're going to have all these different tracks that people can stream, and then that will help you with your income as well. That will help you to just build your name. You never know when there's going to be an event where someone comes across your music, one track, they discover your whole catalog, they book you for an event, they sign you to a label. So just start releasing stuff, even if you don't think it's that good. Imperfect tracks, but on a perfect release schedule, is the way you need to think about this. So be attached to the process, not the outcomes. Stop overthinking the mix. And if you are, then hire a mix engineer. The mix is just about getting the low end where there's no phase issues, there's no problems, it's balanced, it's competitive in terms of loudness. If you don't know how to do this yet, and you're not sticking to your release schedule, I would recommend hiring a mix engineer if you can afford that. And if you can't, then study specifically. I'll give you three things. So study gain staging, study compressors, and study limiters. So just study those things. Don't worry too much about the stereo field and all of that. And then Just reference your track against a commercial track and try to get the levels to where it sounds balanced and it doesn't sound like it sounds kind of flat in a sense in the low end, like it's not jumping. Everything is controlled. You want to look for control. And if you're really not confident in your mixing abilities or it takes too much time, just hire a mix engineer for now. And then you can do a couple mixing courses and learn this. But the most important part of the mix is the balancing stage with the faders. That's why when you look at a mixing studio, it's just the faders. They have those big desks with all those volume faders in a row, because the balancing stage is way more important than anything else. Having a good listening environment is really important, or having the technology to overcome that. So don't overthink the mix. If that's slowing you down and that's stopping you from releasing consistently, then sort it out with the mix engineer, or just release imperfect mixes for now. It's not that important. The most important thing is actually your ideas that you're coming up with, which is why I said think about the hook in the first slide. Stop overthinking the arrangement. The arrangement is just usually it's just the development of one or two key ideas. In the breakdown, don't overthink that. Just add a pad, add some textured sounds, add some rises, add some down sweeps. If it's a vocal, it's obviously a bit more complicated because then you've got verse and chorus. But even that's not that complicated. In the verse, the energy is a bit lower. In the chorus, the energy is a bit higher. In the chorus, there's maybe an extra riff, an extra melody, an extra drum sound. But it's still the same core groove. Like the groove is not going to change. The bass line is probably not going to change that much. The drums are probably not going to change that much. There's just a couple of arrangement tricks like transition sounds, filtering before the drop. So bringing the low end out and dropping it in. These are just techniques you can practice, again, by finishing tracks. And then you're going to get a feeling for how the arrangement should be over time. And if you can't arrange it, then it's probably a weak idea. So just start a new track. If the hook is rubbish, just start a new track instead of trying to spend weeks and weeks trying to finish an arrangement that's not going anywhere. And if you haven't clearly mapped out the verse, the main sort of verse, and then the main drop, it doesn't have to be a verse in terms of like a songwriting verse, but like maybe there's a main melody hook that comes in, and then there's two that come in the chorus, and there's more energy in the drums. You don't have a clear idea in your head of where that is in your track, and you're just getting stuck in like a 16 to 32 bar loop and you don't really know how to progress the track, then just start a new one with a clearer 8 to 16 bar hook, then come back to the old one and finish it quickly. Don't overthink it. And sometimes starting new tracks actually reduces your attachment to that one perfect track. So sometimes it's a good thing as well. If you're overthinking an arrangement, you can't finish a track, just start a new one, as long as you're sticking to that 30-day release schedule. That's the most important thing. Overcome fear of content. This is huge. No one actually cares about you when you post online. So the quicker you can understand that, the better it will be for you. Invest in a good camera. Actually, don't invest in a camera. Invest in lighting. If you're going to start filming yourself, the main thing is actually the lighting. It's not the camera. So you can film good content on your iPhone, but it's more about the framing. Like if you look at how I'm positioned in this shot on the screen now, I'm in the center of the screen. There's a light there. There's a light there. So it looks good. That knowledge came to me through practicing making content, through failing lots of times, and then putting myself out there. And then you realize that no one really cares and you can just make content. And then content is going to amplify all of your releases, going to amplify your career. If you're really serious about this, you need to overcome this fear. The sooner you do this, the better it's going to be for you. So this is huge. If you're struggling with social media, you just need to start going into the fear rather than delaying it and avoiding it, and again procrastinating. So it's better for you just to jump into the fear, go towards the fear, and just make that first post. Realize no one cares, and they're just going to keep scrolling to some stupid meme or something, and they're going to ignore you. They'll look at you for like 2 seconds and then scroll on. So the quicker you can overcome the fear of content and actually get good at making content, it's really, really, really going to help you. This is how I've grown my sample pack business. I've been DMing some of the biggest artists, and you do get responses. If you can just build the bare minimum outline of a profile with a bit of social proof, maybe you DJing, maybe some tracks you've produced, some DJs playing your tracks, This is it. This is all you need. And then maybe a couple of videos of you breaking down some of your tracks or something like that. The camera quality doesn't have to be perfect. The microphone doesn't have to be perfect, like I've got it all set up here. Just get started, start posting, start building your brand now, today, because AI is coming. And it's just fun as well. It's fun to overcome your fears. It's a point of personal development. So overcome that fear. Start posting online. That'd be good for you. Call and response is really huge. When you're making tracks, people spend too much time learning mixing techniques that are not going to be the main cure for their bad music. If you have bad ideas from the outset, then it's not going to get fixed in the mixing or mastering stage. You're going to waste hundreds of pounds paying your engineer to do this, or you're going to waste hundreds of hours mixing tracks that are not even that good. So you want to think about call and response in your hook, in your main ideas. You want to think about call and response in the rhythm. You want to think about call and response in the chords interacting with the rhythm. Everything is call and response. The more you study this concept and listen to it in other tracks, you will hear the call and the response in all different kinds of professional tracks. And so the more you recognize it when you're listening out for it in different genres, when you're out and about, you will then be able to implement that into your own technique in your own music production. So call and response enables elements in the mid-range to not fight each other. You're thinking about how the idea is structured, and that's how you make good ideas. This is a really, really powerful technique. Intermediate producers overlook this one. I think advanced producers really, really love to use call and response because it's so powerful. So call and response is huge. Make sure you use it in your tracks. This goes back to the mixing side of things. It's also due to sound selection. You want to pick good kick drums, pick good bass lines. Make sure the bass is side chained to the kick so the kick has room to hit. Make sure you balance it so it's the right level in the mix. Make sure you compress the low end as well. You can look at multiband compression and referencing to keep the sub really tight and actually not competing with the kick drum. It's very, very hard to get a perfect low end unless you've got a really good listening environment. I sometimes get really close using my headphones, but it's still not going to be as good as someone who's mixed it in a perfect room. But you can get very, very close. So in every genre of electronic music, the low end is really, really important. It's best when it just sounds really flat. Not flat, but just really controlled. So you want to listen out for professional tracks where the low end is when you high pass above, say, 200 hertz, you can only hear the low frequencies. You want to be hearing for just a really, really controlled, tight, polished low end. And then if you can recreate that in your own tracks, if the bass is not fighting with the kick drum, they're not out of phase, they're mono, they sound good, they're punching through the mix. That's the main thing you want. And when you're actually mixing, if you are mixing your own tracks, always do the low end first. That's the first thing you want to bring up, and then mix everything around your low end, and that will help you to get a polished low end as well. Build out a contact list. So in your genre, you're going to have a list of DJs, you're going to have a list of labels, A&Rs, maybe even YouTube channels. Build it out into a spreadsheet and then do cold outreach. Send them DMs, like their posts, comment on their posts. This is going to get you known within the scene that you're trying to get into. And just having that contact list, understanding if you've reached out to these people, if you sent them your music, if you've commented and sent them good energy, good vibes, that will come back to you in the future. So you've got to play the long game. You've got to think about what you're networking, how you're networking, what emails you're collecting, who you're talking to, and that is really going to help you to build out a career as well. So it's free. You have to remember, it's free to get people's information nowadays. You just type their name into Instagram, type their name into YouTube, you can get their email. You can send them a DM for free most of the time. So people are reachable, people are accessible. You just have to have the courage to message them and start to build out a contact list. Don't try to get anything from anyone at the beginning. It's just about being visible, being known, and just starting to build your network. So that's a really important tip. Work on your weakness. So if you're bad at mixing, work on your mixing. If you're bad at arrangement, work on your arrangement. If you're bad at writing hooks, just only focus on the hook for the next couple of weeks. And by focusing on your weakness, you're obviously going to improve it. But you're not when you sit down, you have to be intentional. Most of the time when you sit down, you may just be drifting, you may not be structured with your approach, and that is just wasting time. And further to that, you're not actually finishing tracks, which is why I said at the beginning, you need to be loyal to that 30-day posting, the 30-day release schedule. That's the most important thing. So always work on your weaknesses, seek feedback, find targeted ways to improve. So don't just finish a track and think, oh, that's done. Wait a week, look back on it, and then see what could be improved. Could you add more transitions? Could the drop be stronger? Could the hook be stronger? So always analyze yourself, always reflect on what could be improved. And the last tip is to study AI. So AI is coming. You should be studying AI outside of music as well, but also in music. How can you use it to speed up your workflow? How can you use it to come up with interesting sounds, to sound design? How can you use it to just speed up your process? Because the professionals are now using AI. I'm hearing AI sounds in people's tracks. I'm watching people using AI in their workflows on YouTube. So people are using AI. So you don't want to fall behind. You need to study AI. It's just a non-negotiable, regardless of which industry you're in. Every single industry is going to be hit by AI, including music. So you need to study AI. You need to spend time researching what it does and how it can help you. Don't get emotional about it. Just learn how to use AI to help you win. Don't get hung up on all these debates online. Just focus on winning. Focus on studying how you can win, how you can get faster, how you can get better. And that is how you're going to improve. So hopefully you found this useful. I think that was the last thing. So hopefully you found this list. Hopefully you found this list useful, going from intermediate to advanced. And I'll see you in the next